how often it is that people show up to the gym not really seeing change.
So you want to make sure you're not leaving like 10 reps left in the tank, that you're not just swinging through movements, that you're not half repping. The more you can focus on quality here, the better.
Two people can go in the gym the exact same time. Let's just say Josh and myself. He can get the best results, killer workouts. I could literally be there as well and just get way less results just because I'm not intentional, just because I'm not focused.
And you're only going to see the growth and change you're looking to see if you're actually pushing yourself to a good intensity. So you should really be pushing yourself.
And all it comes down to is just the lack of focus, the lack of intention, the lack of intensity, no mind-muscle connection. So when you're in the gym, really be there.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I am your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house. And today we're going to be talking about 7 ways to get the most out of your workouts and get the best results possible. Now, something I've been thinking a lot about is how often it is that people show up to the gym, they check in, it says, hey, Kyle's here, and then time goes by and no results have been had. Obviously, I've been getting some incredible results, but I just see a lot of people who are going down this path of just not really seeing change. And a lot of it comes down to just not doing the right stuff in the gym, not being intentional, and everything else that we're going to talk about today. And the first and biggest thing, at least in my personal opinion, is just simply a lot of people don't focus on the right strength training. And what I mean by this is it is very easy to get distracted at gyms these days, especially the ones that I go to. There has been a very heavy focus on recovery, on classes, on different things such as like one of them has a pickleball court, some of them can have basketball courts. There's just a lot going on there. And so the same people that I will see over and over again who maybe haven't seen as much change typically will not really have a proper strength training program or at least the right balance. And so what I'm trying to get at is when you show up to the gym, I truly believe there should be a right balance between strength training and then other aspects. You can put everything else into the other category, but it should be mostly strength training because that is truly how you're going to get the best results. And then anything else that you want to do could be more so just to move your body. It could be for fun. It could be like the stretching, recovery. It could be abs. Everything else gets put into a different bucket. And the average person, I would say, they have an imbalance. And what I mean by that is they might do 70 to 80% classes, cardio, elliptical, stretching, sauna, and then 20% strength training. Or it could be 60%, then 40%. The way that I like to look at it is that I'm going to the gym to do 80 to 90% strength training, use every single machine there, use every barbell, do all my compounds, do all the hard stuff, and then anything else is extra. I like to use the sauna. Sometimes I'll walk on the treadmill, of course, do other things. But that to me is how you get the best results possible. And it's never to say that you can't do any other stuff. If you want to go swimming, if you want to use whatever, by all means use that, but just don't use it as a distraction from the thing that is actually going to move the needle, which is going to be strength training.
And next up would be to train with intention. Every single set, every single rep, you want to avoid junk volume as much as possible. I think there's such an attitude of I just need to get in there to get out, just to get it done, to stamp that the workout's complete. And on top of that, another common bonus mistake too is like not prioritizing the right thing. So if you're in the gym and in between every set, you're like running around, you're doing high knees because you want to get your step count up for the day, like you're stepping over dollars to get to dimes because strength training is so important. Piggybacking off what Kyle said, like that's going to help you build muscle. That's going to help you with your bone density. That's going to help you with your composition. It's really imperative you push yourself, and you're only going to see the growth and change you're looking to see if you're actually pushing yourself to a good intensity. So you want to make sure you're not leaving like 10 reps left in the tank, that you're not just swinging through movements, that you're not half repping. The more you can focus on quality here, the better. So if you want to maximize your form, we have a ton of free resources for that. You can go to our website, you can grab our free form guide. You can see A/B of where to start, where to finish for the movement, as well as some common mistakes. Within that, you want to focus on mind-muscle connection, so actively squeezing, engaging the right muscles, controlling the weights on the negatives, not rushing through it, and then of course working to those RARs. I find for most movements, you should be only having about 1 to 2 to maybe 3 reps left in the tank for some circumstances. So you should really be pushing yourself. And if you're like, okay, I already do this, great. Do you actually? And a good way to test this is it's okay to go to failure every blue moon. Obviously, you don't want to be doing it for every movement, for every every exercise in your workout. But when you go to failure, you're like, okay, I actually realized I could do 23 reps instead of the 8 I was supposed to do. So because of that, I have 15 left in the tank. This is clearly way too light. And you can up it until you can find a weight that's appropriate. So that's where I'd recommend going to failure, kind of knowing actually what you're capable of. Another great thing you can do is every workout, try to increase the weight by 5 pounds. Eventually you will hit a wall. You won't be able to do your reps, and maybe you're supposed to do 8 and you only got 6. So you failed. No, you didn't fail at all. You just learned that's a little too heavy. Drop that back down, really get comfortable with that weight, and then aim to actually up it from there. So it's something I'm also working with too. It's really easy to get complacent. I've done, like, let's say 35 pounds for straight arm pull downs, like I talked about on Monday. It's like, okay, you know what? Let's go grab those little 5-pound interval, like small incremental weights rather, and put them on top and see if I can push myself, see if I can get that much more out of it. And that's how amazing results are created in the gym.
Yeah, and piggybacking off that, I'm going to blow your mind with this. 2 people can go in the gym the exact same time. Let's just say Josh and myself. He can get the best results, killer workouts. I could literally be there as well and just get way less results just because I'm not intentional, just because I'm not focused. Josh could be going close to failure or using the 2-hour RIR principle. He could be focused with his headphones in, shaking at the very end, just really intentional and focused on every single exercise and every muscle group. When he's doing bicep curls, he's squeezing, he's doing all the stuff right. I might be talking mid-set. I might be checking my phone too much. I might be like thinking about what I'm going to be doing later. We're doing the exact same workout, but he's just crushing it and I might just not be crushing it. And all it comes down to is just the lack of focus, the lack of intention, the lack of intensity, no mind-muscle connection. So when you're in the gym, really be there. Try not to be anywhere else. This is a huge thing to make sure to keep in mind. And next up, just manage your rest time properly. So I have a note here saying, if you're going to use your phone between sets, set timers. I do believe most people need a timer just as a reminder. And that's just because, once again, when you're on your phone, you start scrolling, you do whatever. It is so easy to get carried away. 3-4 minutes goes by. It's not only annoying to everyone else who's trying to use a machine you want to use, but also to your gains. You're just going to lose intensity. You're just going to be taking too long rests for exercises that don't need it. And even when it comes down to it, I see these days so many discussions happening. The amount of people that will take a 5 to 7 minute rest while doing like bicep curls because they're talking to someone. If you just have that phone that just dings and it says, all right, it's been 90 seconds, like it's time to go, or it's been a minute. I really believe this is powerful. So the main thing to take away is use your rest time properly, whatever you want to do. Go for it. I do believe, and this is my biggest and one of my best recommendations, is try to avoid scrolling too much. I've definitely gone into a habit of doing a little bit more kind of texting and checking my messages, doing stuff. So I'm going to try to scale that back a little bit. But if you focus on what others are doing, you get motivation from others, you walk around just a little bit and you're just very intentional, I find it's a lot better. It's easy to kind of get sucked into something else and then you just get distracted. Once again, that kind of works off of what I was saying about being intentional. So just use your rest time appropriately, but make sure that it's not too long to the point where you lose that intensity, but also make sure it's not too short. And I even had a discussion recently with someone who was like moving their exercises too quickly, and then they weren't able to push themselves as much because they were just really trying to keep intensity up. But then at the same time, they're taking like 15-second rest between sets, which also isn't ideal. So just have a right balance, make sure to jump into it accordingly, and this will make a very big difference in your results and your fitness journey.
And next up is to go into the gym with an actual plan and an intention. So one of the worst mistakes you can do, in my opinion, is just go in the gym, pick some exercises, say I'm training back today, and just do whatever you feel like. You're going to end up shortchanging yourself because you're just going to be doing random machines. There's going to be no cadence. There's going to be no flow. You're going to avoid things that are difficult. And I think that's where leg day for a lot of people just becomes adductor, abductor, hamstring curl, quad extension. They're low friction, they're easy. Of course, you're not going to want to do a barbell squat it's just so easy to make a habit of that and that just to be normalized. And before you know it, the quality of workouts suck. You're in there, you're just going through them. You're wondering why you're not changing. Whereas if you go in with a specific plan designed for you, and I'm not talking about like a weak AI ChatGPT type routine where they just whip something together that isn't truly curated from you. But when you have something that really encompasses your goals, your ambitions, your abilities, your history, because everyone is so different, right? And everyone will have positives from their past and negatives from their past. So for example, like if you're a basketball player, you're going to have really naturally strong legs. You're going to have like some good good basics of athleticism. But even with basketball players in general, they actually have a hard time oftentimes doing a really clean squat, having good mobility, because they're so used to being dominant with one leg, jumping off one leg, and there can be some things you need to work off of that. So that's where you almost want to like untrain some of that strength. You want more unilateral work. You want to bridge that gap. Like just as one basic example as to where everyone's so different. If your goal is really strength based and you really just want to drive that home and you care less about aesthetics, obviously you want to devote more of your time to building your lifts. Like everyone's so different, and you really want to make sure that your routine is like the right tool for your job to actually get the results you want, right? And if you're in the wrong tool, if you're trying to get jacked and you're just doing circuit workouts, it's not really going to happen. You're just going to be burning calories. So that's where it's so important. You have a routine that's made for you, that's progressive, that's periodized, that improves with you, that challenges you more over time, that has a goal you're working towards that you can progress past. And naturally, the best way to have a routine like this is to have a coach on your side who's done thousands and thousands of incredible routines, who will make one custom for you, your physique, your gym, your time frame, all these different things. And that is something I would love to do for you personally. If you want to work with me one-on-one and get your guaranteed results, because yes, I guarantee your results, your money back. That's how confident I am in what I do. And there's a personal touch. I will be personally holding you accountable, learning your story, learning about your journey, and holding you accountable to seeing your goals come true. So if you want to work with me one-on-one, head over to my website. It's that first link in the description, colossafitness.com. It's totally revamped. Even if you're just curious more about what it is I do, how online coaching works, some of the incredible transformations I have, you can find all of that and more at my website. First link in the show notes of this episode.
And next up, it's simply understanding how to navigate when it gets busy, when it gets chaotic. I hear a lot of people who end up just having poor workouts because they don't understand how to navigate. First of all, I think it's totally cool and very important, even if you want to ask someone how many sets they have left. And this is obviously where it gets so powerful, is having that routine is perfect, right? Because we go in, we know exactly what we're doing, how to navigate it, and like having something to follow is so powerful. And I wanted to stress that a little bit more, just because once again, like if I were to take a poll in the gym, I'd say if I were to ask someone what they're doing, they're like, oh, well, I'm just doing whatever opens up and whatever I feel like. And then they'll never do the legs and they'll never do the hard stuff. And that's where I love having something to follow. And every one of our clients who gets insane results, it's because they have a specific plan. But also I realize things happen. I realize machines get really busy. I'd say Josh is a pro at navigating this. Like he's always looking at the next thing we need to do, which helps keep the flow going. It helps keep the momentum. It helps us get the right exercises, make sure we don't skip out on anything. So we're always keeping an eye on that next thing. But like I said, being able to ask someone how many sets they have left, but at the same time, also understanding there will be a time where a change needs to be made, right? So if a squat rack's taken, it would be so easy to just be like, well, I'm not going to squat today. Whereas like for us, we could do a little bit more mobility. We'll do some more warm-ups. We'll do some stuff like that. But later on in the workout, there might be a change where it's just like, it's impossible to get this thing. There's 3 people waiting for it. Okay, we'll do the one thing before, then we'll come back to this. And being able to understand that that is okay depending on the workout, of course, but also be okay with making some small adjustments. I have to do this time to time. I try not to, but there will be a specific time where the bench area is just so insane. I can't do dumbbell flies, but the cables just happen to be open. So I know that that's an okay adjustment. So just being able to understand how to navigate the gym to make those changes if needed, which once again, we don't want to make a habit of it because if we do, then every single time we will just always do that. But also being able to make the right ones, where some people, they'll be like, oh, well, I can't do this one really tough exercise. I'll just go do the abductor machine. Like that just doesn't make any sense to swap out your really heavy barbell hip thrusts, which are amazing, for something that might be a smaller movement. So I would say this alone is just a really good tool to make sure that you keep your knowledge up, your momentum, your intensity, and just still get some incredible results while following the routine that you have set for you.
And next up is surround yourself with great people in the gym. So you can do that by way of obviously having a coach, even with an online coach, right? Like knowing someone's behind you, encouraging you. If you need a form check, you can just send me a video. I'll make that happen. If you have any questions or substitutions that need to be made, I'm there for you. It could be having a great workout buddy, someone to go in there with you in the gym, challenge you, push you. You can grow together, even if you're at different levels of strength. I think it's always nice when you're with more of a pro or someone who knows what they're doing and they can kind of drag you along to their level. And one thing I love doing too is lifting with newer people, because I think it really breaks their brain as to what they're capable of and what a true training session should look and feel like, and reworking some habits where they might see, wow, like Josh rests like 2 minutes in between sets. Like that's crazy. But then when it's time to show up, like to what I said before, like that said, I'm pushing hard. I'm giving it my all. I'm making it count, and then I'm taking that time to recover from it instead of just rushing through everything for the sake of getting it done. So that's where having this around you is so important. And even if you're in a local gym, if you get to know people and you can have people to spot you so you can push more comfortably closer to those RERs you want, so it's safe and ready to go, or people you can ask how equipment works. Like, I think the more you can get support with that, the more community you can have behind you, the more unstoppable you become.
Yeah, and recent Monday, I was talking about obviously some gym etiquette things, and there's can be some negatives, but there's so many positives to working out in a great environment where someone's pushing you, where someone's challenging you, where I get to work out with Josh. I'm like, all right, he's hitting 8 on the leg press. Let me challenge myself here. So I do think that is so powerful. And a lot of times people just go through the motions. They just, they're by themselves. Even recently, I've been working out with some different buddies. We're like, hey, you got to do more. And it's funny, shout out to Ryan. He's like, I heard you in my next leg day, like you saying, go grab the 30s, go grab the 30s. So then he did. And he thought that was really powerful because he's using more weight than he thought he was able to use because he had that extra motivation, that extra support. And it was just really an awesome story. So yeah, to me, that is so, so powerful and such a great hack. This next one and the final one here, I had to include it just because if I were to look at a lot of people who aren't seeing the results that they want to or they should, it doesn't just happen because of the gym, right? Like they're showing up, they're checking in. The people that are in the same spot, or if not worse, it's because of the lack of focus outside of the gym. They use the gym as an excuse to overeat. They use the gym as an excuse to neglect other areas. You say, well, I've already worked out, so I can eat all these calories back. Or like, I went to the gym today, so I can fill in the blank. Believe me, I've heard it all. And at the same time, yes, going to the gym is amazing. Yes, you should challenge yourself. Yes, you should have better workouts, intensity, push yourself. But that's only 4% of your day when you think about it. Let's just say you get an hour in the gym, you go 5 times a week. That's awesome, but it doesn't just stop there. You need to focus on every single area outside of the gym, including your nutrition, including your overall sleep, over your lifestyle, making sure you're making the right choices day to day. These things really matter. And when you think about it, every other area of your fitness journey, it accounts for 90+% of the day. The amount that you move throughout the day, the nutrition choices you have, even sleep. A lot of people neglect that and wonder why they're not seeing change. And it makes it so much harder to have better workouts and make the right decisions food-wise. So when you can really hone in on, hey, not only am I going to crush the gym and take all of these tips into consideration, but I'm going to do all the right stuff day to day and make the right choices. And it becomes so much easier to make the right choices when you have someone who's going to give you the guideline, give you the accountability, give you the support, and give you the plan to actually succeed. And so that's why, obviously, if you're looking to get to the next level, if you're looking to become better, you're listening to the right podcast for a reason. I want to work with you. I want to take care of you. First link, check out my website. It'll literally take you probably 30 to 60 seconds to fill out an application. I'll get back to you with more info as to how I can get you guaranteed results, and I can't wait to help you. So thank you very much for spending time with us today. We'll see you in the next episode for Motivation Monday. Peace out.